Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and coming up on today's show, I'm going to tell you whether Patrick Graham or Chip Kelly is under more pressure this upcoming season. Before I answer that, though, I want to know from you, who is under more pressure this year? Is it the Raiders' defensive coordinator, Patrick Graham? Type PG. If you think it's the Raiders' offensive coordinator and Chip Kelly, type CK. Bottom line, both guys are under pressure. Chip Kelly's coming in for the first time. Patrick Graham just got a pay raise this offseason. The reason why I'm going to sit up here and I'm going to type my CK, and the reason why I believe Chip Kelly is under more pressure than Patrick Graham this season is exactly what I'm going to be breaking down here on today's show. So if you don't know who I am and if you don't know what you're watching right now, this is the Raiders Report, the number one most watched Raiders show in the entire world. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure your notifications are turned on. I'm going to be providing free Raiders analysis all off-season and season long. So I'm going to be breaking down why I believe Chip Kelly is under more pressure than Patrick Graham. The first reason is this: the offense for the Silver and Black. It is the Chip Kelly offense, and that has to be stated. I'm not saying that the defense isn't Patrick Graham's unit, but Pete Carroll is a defensive-minded coach, and I think depending when you look at this defense, it's always going to fall on the shoulders of Patrick Graham and Pete Carroll. The offense is not going to be Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly. It's going to be the Chip Kelly offense, and because he's in charge of running the offense, I believe they're going to give him almost like that head coach of the offense type of mentality that they were trying to do with Josh McDaniels before. I know that Chip is great with X's and O's. The biggest question mark, though, for Kelly has always been his relationship with the players. If the players buy in, I think that this offense is going to be special, and I also believe that this offense is going to be talented in the first year because that's what Chip Kelly has always been able to do, implement an offense in year one, but can he sustain it year two, year three, year four? Because NFL teams have been able to show Chip that they can catch up after that first year. Next reason why I believe Kelly is under more pressure than Graham, look at the past Raiders OCs, or as I should say, honestly, you might not want to look at the past Raiders OCs. I mean, we're talking about Luke Getsy, Mick Lombardi. I'm going to just put Josh McDaniels in this list. I know he was the head coach, but he was the one calling the plays on the offensive side of the football. Getsy was fired after 8 games last season, and quite frankly, I can't believe he even made it 8 games. The Raiders have finished in the top 10 for points scored twice in the last 10 seasons, and that's even with, having a quarterback like Derek Carr. The Raiders also try to pay a lot of money to a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo, but I know how frustrated Raiders fans have been, especially trying to score in the red zone. I believe that we've had some opportunities to have some good offenses out there, and when you really even look at the year 2022, the Raiders were 12th in the NFL in points scored. A lot of garbage time points there. 26th in yards total. I'm sick and tired of having a bad offensive coordinator, but I've said before that I believe that Chip Kelly was the perfect OC that Las Vegas could have hired, and I can't be happier about it. Also, I can't be happier about this. We got a special guest on Thursday, July 10th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time here on the Raiders Report. When you see who pulls up to this show, you're going to want to ask him some questions. So I'm promising you this, you're not going to want to miss it. Let's go to the next reason why I believe Chip Kelly is under more pressure than Patrick Graham. Look at the Raiders' past quarterbacks. And this is a quarterback-driven league. If your quarterbacks aren't having success, chances are you're probably not going to have a lot of success in the NFL. So from the past names of a guy like Gardner Minshew, Aidan O'Connell, Desmond Ridder, Jimmy Garoppolo, Brian Hoyer, those have all been garbage BS starting quarterbacks. Let's face it, I think Las Vegas has had the worst starting QBs in the league combined over the last 2 seasons. Also, the Raiders have already went out. They traded for Geno Smith. That's Pete Carroll's guy. And they already gave him a 2-year extension. I guarantee you this, depending on how well Geno Smith plays this season, it's going to be very largely predicated on the Chip Kelly, and I think it's going to be how serious teams actually view this offense. If Geno's successful, Chip's going to get a lot of applause. If Geno struggles, Chip's going to get a lot of hate because people are going to go, well, wait a minute. Geno was good with Pete Carroll with multiple different OCs in Seattle. What's the difference here? The difference is Chip Kelly. I also say this. I have the utmost respect for Derek Carr. But if there is one player that I want Raiders fans to just move on from, it's DC. And a great season this year and a good season by Geno Smith is going to help fans go, all right, the moving on from Derek Carr at the time in 2022 was tough. But now the fact that we have a better quarterback, it was the right move. And that's what I would really, really want from the nation, because I think that would really help bring the nation together. I got 2 more reasons coming up here on the show. I also got 2 great deals on the show that I'm excited to show you. If you're looking for a black Raiders shirt, this one, usually $50, you can get it for $29. Wait, Mitch, how do I do that? That link down there below, chatsports.com/T-sale. It's a t-shirt sale. Chatsports.com/T-sale. But you know what? I got an even better deal for you. If you're looking for a Raiders silver shirt, same exact quality, same exact product, just different colors, usually $50. You can get it for $22. Chatsports.com/T-sale is the link. It's going to be in the comments. It's going to be in the description of the show. The sizes of the shirts, I believe, go from small all the way up to like 3XL or 4XL. They're going quick. So if you want one, make sure you get them now while they're actually on sale. Let's go to the next reason here of why I think Chip is under more pressure. The Raiders' future is on offense. And I say that because I know that John Spytek wants to build a team that's about going out there and beating the shit out of you on the defensive side of the football. I know Pete Carroll has built the Legion of Boom. But I also just look at this roster, and to me, I call them pillar players, players that you build around. And the Raiders just simply have more pillar players on the offensive side of the football than they do defense. I love me some Max Crosby. I am hoping that Christian Wilkins can get out there on the field. I'm hoping that Malcolm gets an extension next year. I would love for Tyree Wilson to take the next step. I got big plans for Jeremy Chin, right? But let's be honest with ourselves. In terms of players that you're going to keep and really focus on, not saying you're not going to focus on Max, but Max is also 27, 28 years old. When you're talking about second-year guy in JPJ and Brock Bowers, that's going to be the future of your offense. A future in Ashton Genty. Those 3 players fit together so perfectly that that's how this offense is going to be built. Also, this past draft, 5 out of the first 6 players drafted this year were on offense. Ashton Genty, Jack Besh, Caleb Rogers, Charles Grant, Dante Thornton Jr. This team obviously put a focus on offense, and I'm not surprised that they also tried to go out and get the hottest name in terms of an OC, Chip Kelly. Now, I could also say that money talks. They gave Chip $6 million, $3 million more than what he was getting from Ohio State. They did give Patrick Graham a raise from $3 million up to $4 million, but I think that kind of shows you where they're thinking Chip Kelly under a little bit more pressure there. The final reason, and maybe this is the biggest reason, I wonder if Kelly has a chance to be the next Raiders head coach. I know that Pete Carroll is 73 years old, and he's not going to get any younger. And he's got that 4th-year option if things go well in the first 3 years. But Mark Davis has had his eyes on Kelly for years, and I had a source tell me back in early November, I believe is when it was, either November or October, watch out for Kelly as a sneaky head coach candidate for the Silver and Black. I did not know that he was going to come in for an OC. I did say that at least, hey, watch out, maybe an OC could be something to just look at. But I can confidently say that I was one of the only people out there saying that Chip Kelly to the Raiders does have some wheels, but it's because the Raiders have interviewed Kelly in the past. And I think one of the things that you're looking at right now for this year for Kelly and for the next 3 years, it's almost like he's getting an opportunity to try out to be the head coach. Because again, we know that he's great with X's and O's, but how does he develop players? And I think if he's able to show that he's able to develop and get this offense going and get it in the right direction, they're going to hand him the keys to the car, because if Geno Smith's playing well, if Brock Bowers, JPJ, Ashton Genty, if everything's clicking the way that we think it's going to be clicking, one of the easy things to do is just hand the keys to the car to Chip Kelly, and then Pete Carroll rides off into the sunset, and there's not too much turnover. I will admit, I have heard from a source that Brennan Carroll is a name to keep in mind to be the next Raiders head coach. I don't know if that's just told me because that's Pete's kid. But to me, if the Raiders are winning football games and the Raiders are a successful franchise underneath Pete Carroll, the easiest thing to do is make Chip Kelly the head coach. I think that makes a lot of sense. So for all of those reasons, as I have stated today, I do believe Patrick Graham is under pressure, but to put it simply, Chip Kelly is under more pressure than Patrick Graham this upcoming season. If you plan on hanging out with Chugs and I the entire year, we will be live for every single Raiders game and every single Raiders preseason game. Tune in for more analysis. Tune in for breaking news. I promise you're going to get videos every single day on this channel. We have for the past 5-6 years. Why change now?